Straturday. So happy to see you all here. Instagram here, YouTube and Facebook here. Hello, everybody. So my name is Angela Petrilli. I am doing the Fishman Takeover today. I could not be more excited and honored and thrilled to be here with you all and get to play some guitar and have some fun. I am so stoked about this and hoping you all are doing well, staying safe, being kind, all of that good stuff. We're going to talk about riffs and guitars today, and since it's Straturday, I have my beautiful Strat here with me that I'm going to talk about. But before we get started with that, folks, I always like to know, let me know where you're tuning in from, and let's see, favorite band. So where you're tuning in from and favorite band. Again, so stoked to be here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a Los Angeles session guitarist, guitar player. Love it here in LA. Get to play with some really cool folks. Those of you who are tuning in may recognize me from such shows as Norman's Rare Guitars. I have a show on there called Truly Picks, and I go over to Norm's and play some of my favorite guitars that are there. It's super fun, always a blast. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you know me from Instagram, and again, I'm just so stoked to be here, and everyone just like welcome. This is great. So I've got my Strat here today, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. I've got the Fishman Fluence in here, and I love them. They're great, Stratty goodness. I love how quiet they are. They just sound like a proper Strat should, and it's just that warm tone that I really like when I play, because I not only play with a pick, I play with my thumb and my fingers as well, because there's a different sound that you're going to get when you're playing riffs with your hands versus a pick, or even like with the hybrid picking too. India, I see you're joining us. Thank you. We've got Canada in the house. I love it. We've got Phoenix. Love it. String Cheese Incident is your favorite band. Kudos. Love that. This is very cool. Folks, Thomas, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is great. Folks on the Instagrams, happy you're here. Okay, so anyways, getting back to the sounds that you get when you're playing in using a pick or using your hands. Again, the sound of flesh is going to sound a lot different than a pick. So I'll go ahead and just demonstrate that just in, just a simple riff here. You can get really snappy. Versus if you're playing it with a pick. Anyway, super cool stuff. So what I wanted to talk about today, actually, what I want to know first from all of you all over the world, Scotland, I see you. Welcome. I would like to know, those of you who play, and this common conundrum of the pentatonic, particularly the minor pentatonic, and how a lot of times when we play, folks, I think we know that though very enticing, sometimes we don't know what else to do when we're soloing. Granted, a pentatonic, awesome. They're super fun. Right, but you can add more to your solos, and you can expand upon these notes that are within this minor pentatonic and come up with something super melodic and really cool. So what I prepared for you guys today is just to talk a little bit about expanding this pentatonic, coming up with some cool riffs in the meantime, and again, just utilizing the awesome instrument that you have to make some really awesome music. So again, those of you who are tuning in, my name is Angela Petrilli. We're in jam today, folks. And as always, those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I absolutely love Q&As and I love talking to you guys. And if you have questions about what I'm doing and about gear and guitars and tone and all of that stuff, we will make time towards the end of this Fishman Takeover to answer some of your questions. So keep those questions in your head. I'm going to be reading them on here too. And again, I'm going to get to as many of these questions as I can. So those of you who have questions, write them in. Instagram, that goes for you too. You got questions, write them in, and we'll make it happen, folks. We're gonna make it happen. Again, this is super fun. I'm loving this. Okay, so what I prepared today, so those of you who follow me on Instagram and on YouTube know that I'm a big fan of Eric Clapton. And what I've got here is just the first 4 chords of Old Love, because how good and bluesy is that? So I've got it on my looper here. And again, just real nice groove, right? And I encourage you guys, those of you who have guitars, play along with me. Grab your guitar. Okay, so chords that are happening here: A minor 7, D minor 7, G, and G sus. Okay, so we've got. And that's the groove that we're going to go with. We're going to stick to A minor, because I feel like A minor pentatonic is always a place that a lot of us start with when we're playing. And just getting into this realm of how do I build riffs and how do I build solos and all that cool stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to I'm going to noodle on some pentatonic stuff in A minor. I'm going to stay in that one box. So position 1 for those of you who are following along. Yeah, so here we go. And again, I'm going to stay clean. I have no effects. I got like a touch of reverb on my amp. So I'm going through a Fender Blues Junior, for those of you who are wondering. So again, clean. I'm going to be in the vintage voice 1 here. And then I'll pop into voice 2 so you can hear the differences in tone as well. Again, we're just staying in that pentatonic box here. And just coming up with cool tones. Again, using tone in the hands, because we could hammer on. We could slide into stuff too. Again, we're building melodies, we're building riffs. Again there, like the use of octaves. So we get a different kind of good, deep tone goodness too in using different octaves of the guitar. Like even that could be the start of a really cool riff, looking at these 2 different octaves and seeing what you can come up with there. And again, something I like to do too when I solo is good chunks. Strong verbs, short sentences. Say what you need to say and say it. So that right there is just a simple pentatonic. And we're just going in, again, using the different inversion. Those of you who play, who are following along, kind of tell, okay, I'm going into the different inversions of the minor pentatonics, which is always super fun. So let's see, folks. So much expression. Exactly. That's the thing, too. So thanks for mentioning that, Steve. When you're playing, the left hand is super important. That's the technique, right? Those are the notes that tell us, okay, I need to hit an A, I need to hit a C, a D, an E, and a G. Those are my 5 in the A minor pentatonic. That's what I need to work on. But when we want to build really cool tone in the hands, we need to rely on what this right hand does. So what I was doing for a lot of that was using my thumb. However, you can do a lot of alternate picking too, which is something that's really, really cool, that you can go ahead and add. It adds really cool depth in your playing, which is great. Right? So sneaking in. So how I do that is I've got my pick, thumb, and first finger holding that. I'm creating a T, okay? And the pick goes in that way. There's not much of the pick that I've got hitting the strings. I'm talking like that much, right? That much of the pick, because if I leave too much slack on the pick, what can happen is it falls out of your hands, right? Like how many times has this happened to us where we're playing and pick gone. So me, how I hold it, and again, has everything to do with like making an awesome riff, is making sure when you want to play with the pick that it stays in your hands. So that's the grip that I use. But and also, if we're thinking about alternate picking, right, we want to utilize this second, third, and perhaps fourth finger to go ahead, right, and to give that depth. What's happening here is I'm hitting the top of the string, and then I'm grabbing with my fingers, right, the alternate part, right, picking up from the bottom. It adds a really cool sound versus if you're just strumming. Versus, it's a neat, just cool, interesting way to attack the notes, which is kind of fun. So let's see here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and engage voice 2 on the Fluence. So this is that overwound Texas, right? Stevie Ray vibes. It's goodness. What I like to do here, me personally, when I am playing a solo, so for the most part, what I like to do is my guitar stays between like 7.5 and 8. I don't like to go all the way up to 10, generally. I like to keep it there. I do like to have a little bit of headroom, say if I need to do a solo. I don't want a bunch of overdrive on it. I still want that cleaner tone, but I just have a little more headspace. So that's a trick that I've been doing. Also, too, what's really cool with this voice, too, is that you have this overwound sound, stratty goodness in voice 2, and it just gives you a little more grit, which is cool. It gives you a little bit more output, too, which is nice. So what I'll do a lot of times is if I'm soloing, or say I'm playing rhythm first, I've got it in voice 1. Right? And then say I need to solo over it, or it's my turn to solo, I've got the voice 2 there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my A minor progression here, and you can hear the difference between voice 1 and voice 2. So here we go. Now voice 1. Voice 2. So see what I mean here? It's got this other voice and sound that you can just add to your riffs to give a little bit more depth. And just listen to the sustain too. Like you go ahead and you really crank and you really bend these strings. Then you're like in David Gilmour territory and it's freaking awesome. So again, I love the versatility of it. It's really cool. I am a huge fan of Strats in general. That is my sound, and yeah, just been really, really digging these pickups for that. So, since we're in it a little bit, folks who are new to the stream, thank you all for being here. This is great. Let me know, folks, those of you who are new to the party, where you're tuning in from, and tell me your favorite rock band. So here we go. We got Florida in the house. I love it. Someone's asking what gauge strings am I using here. These are 10s. These are 10s. I like 10s. I know some people go a little bit lighter. I do like to have a little bit of grit, because as you can tell, I like to bend and really like get the juice out of the strings, man. I like that. I find that 10 is a good balance for me. I know that some folks go lighter, some folks go heavier. 10 is a good fit for my hands. I like it. But yeah, that's good stuff. So thanks for the question. Love that. I'm using 10 to 46 if I'm being particular. Someone asked what kind of Strat this is. So what I've got here, it's a Fender Strat. This is a American Deluxe from 1998. I bought this bad boy used in 2007. It was sitting in a pawn shop for like months, and no one was picking this thing up. So I picked it up, and I love it, and it's been like probably my main Strat since then. So as I mentioned, I've got the single width Fluence pickups in here, and my buddy Bill Asher made me this custom pickguard. But yeah, this thing, it looks killer. It's been on the road with me a lot, and I absolutely love this guitar. So very cool. All right, we got some new folks in the house. We've got Florida. Thanks for being here. Ontario, Canada. Hope you're staying warm. And we've got Florida. I'm sure you're plenty warm. You guys are like in the 80s today. All right, and your favorite band's Rush. Great band. Love it. Hello from Rhode Island. Dino, I love Rhode Island. Rhode Island's awesome. Hope you're doing well over there. Awesome. Guys, this is super fun. Ooh, Stone Roses. Love them. And Anthony from Sydney, Australia. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Instagram, I did not forget you. Hope you guys are doing well. All that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this A minor pentatonic. Now, the way that I look at scales and stuff when I'm soloing is I like to think in terms of notes. So what are the notes that I'm dealing with, and what are the notes that I can, add in to perhaps build and expand on a scale that we all love and play a lot and very, very much. So what I like to do with A minor, we're going to start simple here. The key of A minor and its relative key of C major, right? No sharps or flats. All the notes are natural. Good. All the notes. So in terms of A minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know the alphabet, you know the notes in A minor. It's pretty awesome. So with this, if we're talking pentatonic, penta meaning 5. So instead of the 7 notes that we have in say a major or a minor scale, right, with the pentatonic, we only have 5 to deal with. So in terms of A minor pentatonic, and again, folks, if you have a guitar, grab one. Join in on the party. Okay, so you've got A, C, D, E, G. Those go on and on and on, right? But here's the thing that's really cool. Position 2 that we know, right? Guess what? Right there, we're using the same 5 notes, A, C, D, E, G, right? But we're starting at C this time. So right there, that's your C major pentatonic. So right next to each other, A minor. Right next to it, position 2, also the major pentatonic, C. Even those two scales, if you put them next to each other, they sound a little different. They have a little bit of a different vibe, right? So this is something cool when you're looking into, hey, like, I want to come up with some cool riffs and some neat, intervals between my notes or what have you. When you're exploring and you are, coming up with really, really great stuff, these are things to think about. So it's a little sad, right? It's bluesy. You got something like this. It's a little happier. Okay. A little melancholy and a little joy. All right, great. So what we're going to do here is, hey, we're using the same 5 notes in this C major position. Let's play it over this A minor progression that we have here and check out how it works too. I'm going to combine them both. And let's see. Maybe I'll do position 2 when I solo. So here we go. Click it. There we go. So see what I mean? See how that works too. You get what you need. So now what I'm going to do is going to combine it. So here's position 1. Two. And see what I mean? Like these little whiffs, okay, we're like starting to hear this kind of Clapton vibe, this kind of Dickie Betts kind of thing. And now we're expanding on. We're going into this 3rd position. And again, strong verbs, short sentences. Say what you need to say. Don't overplay just for the sake of overplaying, right? Like really feel these notes. Say what you mean to say. Like even just that 3 notes. Like tell me more. Let's add 4. So with the use of bending and picking and choosing little bits, you can come up with some pretty cool stuff. And see how I added a B there? 12th fret of the B string. So now we're adding in a note that wasn't necessarily in the pentatonic, right? This B note is what we see in the key of A minor. That B is present. That's a 2. So now we're putting that in. Now you're getting like some Santana stuff happen, some like Dorian stuff is coming. See what I mean? So we add in this one B note. So now we're playing a scale of 6 notes, and it's sounding a little different. It's starting to get like a new kind of vibe. This is great. Look at that too, and this is something that I talk about a lot with my students here, and I'm going to turn off this looper for a second, is, okay, in practicing your scale stuff, a lot of folks tell me, you know, when I teach, it's like, oh my God, I can't see the intervals, right? I know the notes, but like I can't see them sometimes. So what's a good way to practice is to play the scales horizontally, like say, perhaps like a piano player would, right? Because all of their notes are all right there, right in that horizontal plane. But what's happening here with guitar is we not only have a horizontal plane, we have a vertical one too. So we have these notes that are stacked on each other. That's why, like, when we play like an E chord, the E, G sharp, and B, they're all stacked, right? They're all on top of each other. And when we play a chord like this, right? Still stacked. Even if you do the inversion, it's neat stuff that happens, but it's on a vertical plane, a vertical and a horizontal plane. So when you're practicing scales, and those of you who play guitar, try this out this week. Do a simple backing track, right? And then just go ahead and play your scales horizontally so that you see the intervals that are there. So you have, let's see, let's stick to A minor pentatonics. That's kind of the theme for today. So you have A, you have C, you have D, you have E, G, and A. Now that was all on one string, right? Looks a lot different than this. But what's happening here is, hey, how cool is that? Okay, I see A here, that's my root, and then I see C. Well, folks, all right, well, that's awesome. That's a step and a half. How do you know? You can physically see it. Okay, A to B, right? Whole step. B to C is half. Right? So that movement from A to C is a step and a half, and we physically see it rather than doing something like this. Right? We can see it a little bit better and a little bit easier when we're trying to learn our notes and all of that stuff. We can see it a little bit easier when we play it horizontally, so it's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and do some lines on just one string so we can see how this works. And when you really know your notes, you can play this in a quick, wispy, really, really elegant, feathery kind of way that, I don't know, to me it almost sounds like a human voice, which is kind of cool in a way. I think it's neat. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to put on this backing track again. So I'll start at A. And there's G, now E. And D. Notice how that one line sounded really cool and the way that it descended sounded pretty good. So again, now we're building ideas for riffs. We come back to it. So now let's do this a little faster. So that was A minor. Those were all the notes in A minor. So I'm going to start that at E. So then I have E, D, C, B, A. How many times have we heard riffs like this, right? Let's do this again. It's cool stuff. So, and you can start this from any point in the scale too. You know your notes in the scale, where to find them. And again, we're just going to stick to like horizontal stuff today. You can end up, again, doing a cool riff. So here we go. Let's start at D. And notice how we worked our way up the neck. We know that, hey, this is the open G string, right? Second fret is A. Cool. That's my root. Love it.